Hello everyone, I cordially welcome you all to another video from the React tutorial series, and in this video we are going to discuss on portals in React. So without any delay, let's get started. So what are portals in React? So if this word sounds fancy to you, let me explain a bit. Portals in React was introduced with the React version 16.0. It provides an awesome way of rendering child component into a DOM node that exists outside the DOM hierarchy of the parent component. This is very different from the traditional DOM element and React component relationship. Before the inception of portals in React, we had one DOM element in the HTML on which we mounted the React components as and when required. Inside the public folder, we have index.html, which contains a div element with ID of root that is being utilized as the root DOM element in our React project. On any user interaction, routing or any event occurrences, we mount a React component on the root DOM element, and that's how any single page application works. If you inspect the DOM tree in the browser for any web page, you will find all React components fall under the root element. By using React portals, we can break out of this convention. Here, even though a component is not under the root element, we can still render the component onto the DOM, which is quite different from the generic parent-child hierarchy. So if this is not clear with you, let me explain a bit further. Whenever you work with single page application, specifically in React, you will see there will always be an index.html file. In case of React, this file lies within the public folder. If you open the public folder and open that index.html file, you will find a div element with ID of root. That is the source of our single page application. Anything which you generate using React basically goes under that div with ID root. But using portals, we can generate components and we can render them outside the parent div. Okay, so if you want to render something outside the root element, you can basically do it using React portals. Let's do some hands-on and understand how does portals work. So without any delay, let's go to the VS Code. Welcome to the VS Code. Now here, as you can see, I have opened two files, index.html and the app.tsx. So if you can see the left side, this index.html file will always be there within this public folder in case of React. Now whenever you generate this index.html, you will have all these things apart from this div portal. This is what I have made. So apart from this div with ID portal, rest everything will be auto-generated by React. Now whatever you render within React, everything basically goes under the parent root element. Okay, but sometimes it is so possible you want to render something outside the root element. Now how do you achieve that? You achieve that using portals. So let's understand the method how we can do this. First of all, within the parent index.html file, which is basically the base template for our single page application, we will create a div element with ID portal. Now here you can use any ID as you want, but you have to remember this because we will use this again in another place. Thereafter, in the component which you use, basically here we are learning using the app component, which is a functional component. Within the return, we will use a create portal method which is provided by React DOM. So using React DOM.createPortal, we will generate an h1 element saying this is a React portal outside root element, and that we will render where we can tap this part of the DOM using document.getElementById, and we will use the ID we have used there, so portal. So here whatever ID you will write in the index.html file, the same ID has to be used over here, and we will get this item as an element. So that is what we have used. So if you are learning via JavaScript, this thing will not be required. But as we are here doing using TypeScript, so this is a good habit. So finally we export our application. So what will happen if this thing works fine? Whenever we will run the application, we will see an h1 with saying this is a React portal outside root element on the UI. But the trickiest part is this h1 will not be within the root. This h1 will be under the div which has ID portal. So as I have already said that this h1 will be rendered within the div where ID is portal. So this div with ID root will be empty. So let's run our application and see if it's working. So we will write npm start to start our React application, and let's wait for some time until our application bootstraps. So yeah, it's running. As you can see, we can see the h1 tag which says this is a React portal outside root element. Now if I go to this inspect and check the elements, you see within the body we have a div id root, another div id portal. Now here inside this id portal div we have our h1 which says the same text as we are seeing in the UI. The root div is basically empty. This is how we use React portals to render elements outside the generic parent-child hierarchy. Okay, this is just an example. You can use it in many other cases where you think it is suitable in your project. Now let's go back to the slide. I hope you found this video informative. So if you have found this video informative, I will cordially request you to subscribe to our channel, as that will motivate us to work even further and generate far better videos in the future. For any queries, doubts, suggestions or feedbacks, feel free to post them in the comment section. We are going to reply. So thank you for now. See you in the next video. Bye.